Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is my 40-gallon aquarium, a 40-gallon breeder tank. This is the replacement tank for my 30-gallon planted livebearer community tank, which is no longer in use because that tank leaks. So replacing it with this 40-gallon, it's the same dimensions except it's wider. So it's 3 feet long, like 30-gallon tank was, same height but just wider. And for the most part I'm trying to duplicate how I had the 30-gallon set up. So all the materials in here are what has come out of the 30-gallon. So we have the rock pile here in the middle with Java moss attached, the same mopani wood, this pillar piece right here, and this piece right here with the anubias rhizome attached to it. And all this, as much of the substrate as I took out of the 30-gallon, which was a mixture of Eco-Complete and some regular gravel and black sand, and then mixed with all the detritus there, and I added some more black sand, and I think I'm gonna have to get some more because this was, a 20-pound bag's worth added to it, and I probably need another bag to fill in the back. And there is the Platy who lived. That one, that was the one when I moved and took all the fish out of the 30-gallon. This is one fish that I could not catch, and as I mentioned in my recent video, I thought it would have figured it would have died, but it was alive in a little puddle, and now it's got the whole 40-gallon all to itself. So when I did show that last video, I had moved the substrate over, and it was like really cloudy, but it just really only just took a day to clear up. And so the water is good and clear, all the dust has settled. So that Platy is looking good. This is one of the last ones that was born in the 30-gallon that grew up. Not that many Platys were. And I really like it how it has the reddish orange dorsal fin outlined in black like that. This is has some probably red wag Platy genes along with the maybe Ritus Platy. Marigold Ritus Platy in the mix. And so this tank is like, all the plants are not, there's still plenty of grain in there, so should come back all right. But as I mentioned in the last video, like a lot of the anubias leaves had died off, but there's still some that are green. And good news is there was a new leaf right there that just grew up out of it. This little one over here. So if we can sprout up there's still life in the rhizome, we can still grow some new leaves. And the Cryptocoryne, the Cryptocoryne Lutea, like in my 30-gallon, started with a small bunch, and it just spread all throughout the tank, lots of it. And it was pretty overwhelming when because I'd never took apart, broke down a tank with live plants in it like that, and all the roots were just overwhelming in the substrate, just everything connected. It's hard to tell where if there was any beginning or end to it. And then with all those roots, I don't know if the substrate is deep enough. Like as I mentioned, I need to get some more, maybe another layer. Hard to get all the roots under the gravel. So, but I think there's enough that we'll just let nature take its course, and whatever roots will make their way underneath and grow from where it is. It's still, a lot of the Java fern died off, so here's a mixture of regular Java fern and some wendtii Java fern. As I was moving this over from the 30-gallon, a lot of the roots are attached to the rocks, so the rocks were all clinging together, and some of the leaves died off, but there's enough that it could, not quite at the peak of how it was in a 30-gallon, but it's still alright, and it'll have plenty of time to grow back. And not much for the stem plants left. There's a few little pieces of anacharis, so hopefully be able to get those to grow. I mean, there was a time when I had lots of anacharis in this tank. It was all growing from the substrate to the surface and all around. And here on each end, this is Cryptocoryne Lutea. So in the 30-gallon, I had just a bunch of it right here. That's half of it, and then I got the other half in this corner. So that never really, over 3 years in the 30-gallon, never really grew that much. It was the only tissue culture plant that I ever had. But maybe it was just because all the roots were bunched together, and when I set up, I didn't spread it out. But I mean, it hasn't done much growing, but it's lived just fine. And a little bit of bacopa here. I mean, I had plenty of that in the 30-gallon, but this is all that's left there. So hopefully that can rebound. And here is a cluster of riccia fluitans, some water sprite in there, Java moss, and there's a piece of Java fern wendtii. So those just kind of like a floating island of plants. Another cluster back here. I mean, there's all on the pillar of this mopani wood. There was some Java moss attached to it, and whatever other pieces of other plants, which does include some Java fern. Let's just kind of let it grow wild and do its thing. There's some Cryptocoryne Lutea. I just left it there floating, but I'm planning to move that to another tank. And so there's still plenty of shrimp in here. Here's some. Not too many red ones left. They've kind of reverted to like wild colors, just like brown and colorless. This one's kind of like a partial blue and clear. Here's our Platy who lived. And I added some snails. So there's a Malaysian trumpet snail right there. That is, well, it's a nerite snail shell. I just have the shell. I mean, the shell is still cool looking, but the nerite snail, it died years ago, and I just had it left in the 30-gallon. And there is a ramshorn snail, and I put some bladder snails in here too. There's some of the Malaysian trumpet snail over there. I guess we'll let the snails populate. Right, this is the only fish in the tank right now. but I think it looks good like that. It's kind of cool looking just seeing one fish like swimming around and open like that. Unlike this. So I mean, it is cool looking, and this is what I like is full community tanks with lots of fish, lots of activity. It's kind of a drastic contrast. I mean, this is a 10-gallon loaded up with all these fish, and then going back to the 40-gallon with just the one fish. But just the one fish for now, because there will be more fish added. Even that 10-gallon just showed the intent was to move those platies in here anyway. A lot of the platies and some of the other fish. The plan is to have this be like a lot like how my 30-gallon was in its peak. So I'm gonna add some corridors, some tetras, some guppies, more platies, a dwarf gourami, very likely. But for now, it has that one platy. But I think what I'm first going to do is add one particular platy and some guppies, and I'll show you which ones those will be. Alright, here is my guppy on their hybrid tank, and this is the fish, this blue platy right here. I think I'm going to move, one of the first ones to move to the 40-gallon, because she's beefy and pregnant. I want her to have babies. I want to have some blue babies, so they'll have a lot better chance if they're born in the 40-gallon without other fish to eat them. Let those be the first ones to be born in there. So this is my guppy on their hybrid tank, and I have, like when I moved and took the fish out of the 30-gallon, I put some of them in here. This among others, and here's some of the pygmy corridors, like some of the platies and the that are in here, like those, not the Dalmatian one, but this one, that one. And these yellow cobra antlers. Yeah, so I had a blue platy before and never got to have any babies. I guess they must have all been eaten, but if I move this one out of this tank, if I leave her in here, maybe a few might survive, maybe not, but I'm sure they will in the 40-gallon as it is now, with all that space and not many predators. Alright, so yeah, that'll be one of the first fish to move, along with these guppies. So that blue platy along with these guppies. There's 3 guppies in here. This is just a 1-gallon tank for snails and shrimp. But I ended up putting some guppies in here when they were fried that I rescued out of the 10-gallon, that first of the 10-gallon that I showed that has all those fish in it, because there wasn't much chance for a fish to survive with all those fish in there, or babies to survive. Plenty were born in that tank, but none were, well, not none, there was actually a couple in there now, but I did save these. So I think I'm going to just move these 3 guppies in here into the 40-gallon. Be the first guppies to go in. So it was only meant to be temporary in here, just so they wouldn't get eaten. And now that they've grown a little bit, that's not going to matter much anyway, because they're going to the tank without other fish. But they're juvenile size, but they'll get a chance to grow better in that tank. Alright, and here we are back at the 40-gallon. So a couple other things I forgot to mention. I put an aquarium lily bulb in here. This is one of the ones that come in the package of plant bulbs from either PetSmart or Petco. I've never tried an aquarium lily from one of those packs, so we'll see if that will grow from there. And I also put in what I believe is a aponogeton bulb, so aponogeton ulvaceus. There it is right there. So this will be maybe my third or fourth attempt with one of those. The first one I ever tried grew successfully, and then tried it one or two more times and didn't have any luck. But we're going to try it again, so there it is, and give it maybe a week or so. If nothing happens, then I'll take it out and flip it over. So I don't even know which side is up or down with those those bulbs, and I believe that is what is recommended to try if you don't have any growth initially. Alright, so yeah, 40 gallon here. So some other news, good news and bad news. I mentioned yesterday, when I got the Rapashi, my unboxing video, I mentioned that I was going to be going to my local fish store today, and I did. And I mentioned I was looking to buy that 84 gallon 6-foot tank. So when I got to my local fish store, I went over to their section where they have aquariums, and they did not have an 84 gallon tank. Like every time I would go there, I would go to check it out. I mean, for years I've had my heart and mind set on getting one when I had the chance. And going back a couple years, and I would look at it, and then I go there today and I didn't see any, and so a little bit of a panic set in, because I've been wanting that tank so bad. I mean, just that it wasn't there, I'm still hoping hoping that they still get them, because they have them customized and that they would still be able to. So I wasn't able to buy one already in stock. I was actually thinking, like, if they did, figuring that they would, because like I said, they've always had them there, and then I'd be able to pick it up next week and start setting it up. But they didn't have any, and they're not going to have them, be able to get them in for about 2.5 weeks. So I did buy it, but I have to wait longer. I thought I was going to wait just a week, be able to get it next week, but now I'm going to have to wait about 2.5 weeks. So that is unfortunate. I'll have to wait a little longer, but I mean, I've been waiting over 2 years to get it, so what's a little bit longer? So I'm excited to get that. I already, even last night, bought some lights and filters for it. So it's a 6-foot tank. Like this 40 gallon has, that's a stingray, a Phoenix stingray, and this is a current. But I got Stingray 2s. There's an upgraded Stingray, Phoenix Stingray. So I got 2 3-foot Stingrays that I ordered. That should be here, maybe as soon as this weekend, or maybe the beginning of next week. And I also got, and that's an Aquaclear 50. I also got 2 of those. So I think that was going to be the main filters for that tank. It'll be an 84 gallon 6-foot tank with 2 Aquaclear 50s, 2 3-foot Phoenix Stingray 2s. That'll be, 3 feet on the lights that I got were 3 feet, so 2 of those to add up to 6 feet. All the way across, and see if that's enough, because those would be brighter than this, because this has like 2. If I have we'll see how it is with the Phoenix 2s, just one across the middle if that's enough. If that would be like equivalent to this being, you know, 2 separate like that, but we'll see. So now I have to decide on what kind of substrate I'm going to get, like what color. If I want to go black like this, or if I want to do like that natural color, like a brown type color. And because I already have, like I do have some mopani wood that I've had, I've showed some unboxing videos, and I've had a mopani wood for quite a while that I can use in it. Whether I'm going to, the substrate will kind of dictate like what kind of rocks I'll do. If I do like the brown, I could use like dragonstone, because I think that would go together. If I use the black, I could use like river rocks or river pebbles or whatever you call these kind of things, or like Sario stone or Saraya stone or whatever it is that's, you know, like it just would match the black. And I already know what kind of, for the most part. The fish I have in mind, as I mentioned, it's going to be roseline sharks, swordtails, corridors. Haven't decided what type of corridors. Maybe stir-by corridors might be a possibility. I haven't kept those yet. Maybe Julie corridors, pandagaras, brilliant raspberries, rummy nose tetras. I was gonna go with that, and a pearl gourami, and quite likely even more. Maybe try some green neon tetras. That had been mentioned as a suggestion, and I like that idea, so I may just do that. The only thing is I've never seen green neon tetras in my local fish store, or any stores like PetSmarts and Petcos don't have them, so I might have to order some online. And that could be a problem because it's going to be really hot here soon, as I live in the Mojave Desert, so I might have to, and now that, you know, getting the tank is going to be pushed back a little bit longer, might have to wait till after the summer to get those. But yeah, well, it'll be set up gradually anyway, so okay. I mean, like when, you know, this is the replacement for my 30 gallon. When I had the 30 gallon, it was, you know, over time, didn't get all the fish all at once. I did like 7 different batches of fish that were in quarantine before adding them. But yeah, alright, so the 84 gallon tank is coming, so stay tuned for that. There will definitely be updates along the way as we go. But alright, that's enough rambling for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.